Excellent day for England, a controversial day, but the stats speak for themselves. They've batted all day, 441 for 6. An excellent gesture from Mahela Jayawardene, but in cricketing terms his side are struggling and England are in a very commanding position.
This is probably the last one for the tea break. India need a wicket. Can they get a wicket with their last ball before tea? England have had a great session. Lead by 184. Sharma got anything?
That should be 2 at least. Not great angle running here. I think it more than likely will end up in the boundary. He doesn't even know where it is. I don't think it has hit the boundary, but he doesn't know where it is. The ball isn't dead. I'm not too sure what's happening here. What took place? Now this is very interesting. Both batsmen were out of their ground. The ball came back. They took the bails off. Well, this is interesting. If it's not 4, this could be interesting. The ball has not touched the boundary as far as we can see. Assad is calling the batsmen back. They need to determine exactly what has taken place here. This is very interesting.
Well, I don't think the ball was dead, was it? I think the batsman just assumed it was for 4, but I'm not sure the ball hit the rope. The batsman just walked off and didn't get in the crease, so the ball was still alive. And Bell and that just walked off. So, and Indian players have taken the bails off and appealed. So if this is not 4, it could be out.
This is very interesting. What will the umpires decide? It's obvious that the 2 English batsmen thought the ball was dead. They thought it was 4 runs. They are walking off again. They were told to stop, but they are continued walking. This is interesting. The television umpire is going to be getting involved here. They have asked for a replay.
I just wonder if they've taken the bails off and asked for a replay to see who's out. To see if they've crossed at the time the bails actually come off. Now here's Bell walking past Morgan. There he is. Morgan's still in his crease, so I think Bell could be out here. I think Bell could be out. They've definitely appealed. They've definitely taken the bails off. The England players, they're pretty nonchalant about it, saying what's all the fuss about. But I think he could be in trouble here, Bell. Wow.
Well, the television replay umpire needs to see this again. He's asking to see it again because they have determined already that the ball was not dead. Who is out? The bails are off. I think Bell is closest to that end. If they're going to make a decision here that the ball wasn't dead and someone is out, I think it's Bell. It's an unfortunate situation, but a careless move by the 2 English batsmen. Well, let's see. That's it. He's out. And I would think it's Ian Bell that's out because he was the man closest to that end. And this is not going to be a happy situation here. That's carelessness, but it's not a happy situation.
I don't think it's really in the spirit of the game, to be fair. It's definitely not in the spirit of the game, and it's a pretty ordinary moment, to be honest. But if you go by the letter of the law, the ball was still alive and they just walked out of their crease. But in the spirit of the game, that's not on.
Well, not the first time we're on this ground we are seeing that sort of reaction from the team or the person in the home dressing room. Well, well. And here it is again. Eoin Morgan plays it down towards deep backward square. They run 2. They run 3 comfortably. Very comfortably. They assume that is 4. That's all I can say. Ian Bell wanders out of his crease and the ball comes back. and the bails are removed.
Yeah, when you look at back full like that, India, it's just out. It never went back to his crease. The ball was still alive. Wow, you don't see that very often. Andrew Strauss is definitely not happy. Wow, we're going to tea with all sorts of turmoil, Mikey.
But that's the match summary at the moment. England are 187 runs ahead, 4 wickets down. Who knows what will happen with Jonathan Trott?
Well, tea is nearly done and dusted. It's nearly time to start again with the final session of the day. This is the talking point, of course. Right on the cusp of tea, the final ball of the session. England see this ball go to the boundary, so they think. Everyone relaxes, Ian Bell turns, bat goes down, turns, and they think that's it. They've got 4, they think Morgan has 4, they think it's time to call over, they think it's time for tea, but the ball is still alive. And that's what the umpires looked at, that's what the umpires decided. So England are now 4 down for 254, Bell out for a magnificent 137. So 1 session to go, time to start again. Here are David Lloyd and Michael Atherton.
Well. England lead by 187. No sign yet of umpires or players. It might just kick off in this final session. So if you're sat at home with the telly on, don't leave us. Get a cup of tea and settle in for the final session, because it could be spicy. For what it's worth, I agreed with Nasser Hussain, David Gower and Sanjay Mandraker at tea. I think the ball was live. Dhoni was perfectly within his rights to uphold the appeal. But the players, or the Indian players at least, left to booze. You saw Andrew Strauss come out onto the balcony, as did 1 or 2 other England players, with a look of utter disdain down towards the Indians. So they're clearly not happy. Ian Bell wasn't happy. And there's still no sign of any umpires. Don't know whether the umpires may have gone to the Indian dressing room and said, are you sure you want to uphold this appeal? I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I think India are within their rights to do that. The ball was still live. Here they come. Asad Rauf and Marais Erasmus, who handle that situation to the letter of the law, and they'll get boos here, which is unfortunate, because a lot of people around the ground will be in the dark. I think they won't know what has happened, and they're taking it out on 2 umpires here who've performed their duties diligently and to the letter of the law, and done exactly the right thing, in my opinion. I've got a former umpire next to me. Bumble, maybe you'll have a different opinion, I don't know.
I just thought it was sharp practice. We hesitate as to what happens next. I've never seen that in a game of cricket. I've been around a long time. The umpires, custodians of the laws of the game. It's in the laws of the game. You've got the option to go to the captain. Do you want to uphold the appeal? The captain, I think, has said yes. I'll give you something else. I don't think that Ian Bell was attempting a 4th run. He touched down for his 3rd run, and he was under a misapprehension that the ball had gone for 4. The ball was still live. It's messy.
Happened to me, actually, in Bridgetown, a test match where Desmond Haynes hit a ball. Phil Tufnell gave chase. He stopped it trying to go for 4. Desmond Haynes thought it had gone for 4, was wandering out to the middle of the pitch to have a chat with his mate. Can't remember who it was. The throw came in, and we appealed. And by the letter of the law, Desmond Haynes should have been given out, but he wasn't.
So, God, you just tell me a little bit more what happened there with Desmond Haynes.
Umpires just said dead ball. They were wrong to do so, but there are more boos here. Enormous boos for MS Dhoni as he leads his team out, which again is unfortunate, I think, because I'm not sure that people around the ground would have been aware. Sarcastic applause, you'd say, from England. I don't think that was applause with a great deal of feeling.
Well, as you said, it's got messy. Not seen that sort of thing on a cricket field, and with the letter of the law, he's out, and a resounding cheer for England as they come back out again.
You know, well, maybe the applause from England was genuine, because what has clearly happened here, unbeknownst to us, is that MS Dhoni has withdrawn his appeal, clearly. We're not aware of this, we're just talking off the cuff. Nobody has told us what has happened, but we can only assume that the umpires went to the Indian dressing room, asked MS Dhoni to withdraw his appeal, and that's what he's done. So Ian Bell is coming out, so all the boos have been replaced by cheers.
My own view is I think we've got the right decision. The umpires are not the villains here, and I've just said it's messy. I think the lad there on screen is to be congratulated. He's done what I would consider to be the right thing. It's clumsy from Bell. He's had a little time to reflect and said he withdraws the appeal, and that's within his right to do so.
It is within his right to do so. I can think of a few captains, and maybe I'd have been one who wouldn't have done so. I think Ian Bell's a lucky lad. He's been a bit dozy. He paid for it with his wicket initially, and now MS Dhoni has withdrawn his appeal. So let's put it all to one side. There's huge applause now. MS Dhoni has gone from villain to hero in about 5 seconds. The Indian team have all gone from villains to heroes.
2 and 2 makes 5. We saw England applauding on the balcony. We thought it was sarcastic, but it was very genuine.
It was genuine appeal from England, and we can all crack on now. Ian Bell resumes, 137 not out. Eoin Morgan is 21, and England are 254 for 3, leading by 187.
Thanks very much indeed, Ian. First things first, extremely well played, but I'm afraid we're going to have to come on to that wonderful innings in just a moment. Please, can you tell us what happened in that final delivery before tea?
Yeah, I guess quite a bit of confusion, I think, Wardy. Obviously, Morgie's hit that ball off his legs, and we thought probably gone for 4. Obviously, with the way the fielder sort of reacted, I guess after the ball had got down there and he'd got up, and as I turned round, obviously put my bat down after the third, and it looked like we were just meandering off at tee, and all my thought was just walking off at tee, and that was it, really.
So was it Kumar's initial reaction to meandering back to get the ball that first got you thinking, well, it's 4, that means it's tee, well done, we'll go and have a cup of tea?
Yeah, possibly. And obviously turning round, and I think the umpire took the jumper out of his, obviously just behind his back, and started to walk over to the bowler, and it all just looked like it was going straight towards tee. And obviously the right things have happened, I guess, for the spirit of the game, but it was a shame. Did
Owen try and send you back at any stage, saying, hang on, the ball's still live?
Not at all. I think, like I said, we were both a bit shocked, really, with what was sort of going on. We didn't sort of really realise what had happened until we were sort of halfway off and we were told to stay on the ground. We just thought, we'll go straight to tee.
Rahul, thanks for coming down to speak to us. Could you just explain from the Indians team perspective what happened when the guys went up for tea?
Well, obviously the guys knew that if you took the letter of the law of the rules of the game, Ian Bell was out. But when we went back in, there wasn't a nice feeling in the dressing room, and the discussion had already started that probably what happened was not right, And when sort of Flower and Strauss came down to discuss it with Dhoni and Fletch, there was already a discussion going on in the dressing room that maybe what happened was not in the spirit of the game. And then the team met, and there was complete unanimity in the decision that we need to reinstate Ian and give him an opportunity to keep playing because it just wasn't right.
So just to be clear, the team had a strong input into that decision.
It did, and led by Dhoni. I think Dhoni, I think he led it beautifully. I thought he discussed the whole issue with everyone. Obviously, you didn't want people walking out of the dressing room not sure about the decision or not fully behind the decision. But it was nice to see that everyone was behind the decision, and everyone realised there was a little bit of a bitter feeling in the stomach when they came in for tea.
Mikey, come to you now. I mean, one point actually about that is if it hadn't been tea, if it hadn't been the last ball of the session, would Ian Bell have been thinking about walking down as he did anyway? That's one thing that's slightly unique to this situation.
Yeah, that is true, David. If it hadn't been tea, he certainly would not have been walking out of the crease in the first place. We would not have had the incident. But my take on the entire situation, David, is that you have got to be careful when you start talking about the spirit of cricket and the spirit of the game. There are certain things that I think that the spirit of the game go beyond and supersede the laws. For instance, when we all know that as a spinner is bowling to you, come forward, you pat the ball down in front of you, pick it up, you throw it to the closest fielder, you throw it back to the bowler. Now the laws say that you're out if they appeal. But the spirit of the game and the spirit of cricket, no one appeals for anything like that. A similar situation when a bowler and a batsman might collide when someone is running for a run. The spirit of the game and, of course, the spirit of cricket, you should not appeal, although we have seen it happen in the past where the appeal was done. But those things, I think, certainly the spirit of the game supersede whatever is taking place actually as far as laws are concerned. What happened today, as far as I'm concerned, Ian Bell should have been watching the rest of the game from the dressing room. Ian Bell automatically decided he was the umpire. He automatically thought to himself and decided, that's 4 runs, the session is over, I'm heading for my cup of tea. He has no right. The umpires decide what is 4 runs. The umpires decide when the day's play or the session is over, and Ian Bell should have been in the dressing room for the rest of the session.
You could argue it's a rare event because most batsmen don't leave the ground while the ball's live. So I would say Ian Bell was guilty of doziness. He's lucky to be able to have carried on his innings, but that Dhoni's decision was a magnanimous one, and that it took the sting out of the situation, and we can all move on happily.
So at the end of it all, Bell comes out of it slightly hazily. The umpires come out of it well because they did the right thing, and Dhoni comes out of it shining like a god again because he's been able to say, actually, on second thoughts, yeah, we'll go with it. We'll let it be turned over.
Yeah, I think so. And look, there's no black or white here. There's no easy answer. It's all about an opinion and what you could do. And I think we all feel pretty good about it's warm and fuzzy and it's all nice and everything. We just move on. But I think out of all of it, Ian Bell's learned a good lesson. Don't be dozy.